Welcome to Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa. This is the new operating system software from Linux Mint, and I'm going to be giving you a general overview of the operating system software and the basic workflow experience. The first thing I'm going to tell you, if you have never used Linux Mint, you're in for a real treat. The second thing I'll tell you is that if you can let go of your preconceptions about Microsoft Windows and Apple's operating systems, of how you think they should work or how they used to work, the easier your computer experience will be in terms of learning and adapting into this new operating system software. Linux Mint was first developed in 2006. It is built upon very mature and proven software layers, including the Linux kernel, the GNU tools, and the Cinnamon desktop. It also relies on the Ubuntu and Debian projects and uses their systems as a base. Linux Mint is a computer operating system designed to work on most modern systems, including typical x86 and x64 personal computers. Linux Mint can be thought of as filling the same role as Microsoft's Windows, Apple's Mac operating system, and the free BSD operating system. Linux Mint is also free. Linux Mint is a great operating system for individuals and for companies. The purpose of Linux Mint is to provide a desktop operating system that home users and companies can use at no cost and which is as efficient, easy to use, and elegant as possible. So I'll begin our tutorial by discussing the Cinnamon desktop. The Cinnamon desktop is the component of the operating system which is responsible for the elements that appear on the desktop. As an example, the panel, the wallpaper, the file system, the menu, the control center, the software center, the updater, etc. The desktop settings can be launched by clicking on the menu icon in the bottom left corner of your screen. A panel desktop will then appear. Scroll down on the side pane, select Preferences, and click on Desktop. A new box will appear displaying the word Desktop. Right below it, the words show desktop icons with a toggle switch, allowing you to turn the desktop icons on or off. The desktop icons on the computer are Computer, Home, Trash, Mounted Volumes, and you can, as an example, show a USB flash drive or external hard drive, and there's a network icon. When any of these desktop items are turned on, they will display themselves on your desktop. When you start the Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa operating system for the first time, a welcome screen will appear. Here you see icons that display helpful information to learn about the Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa operating system. You can learn about new features, read documentation. You can learn about the apps, drivers. You can go to a Linux Mint forum. You can also go to a chat room. You can get involved, and you can conveniently make a donation. So by right-clicking on the mouse, a cascade drop-down menu will appear, which will allow you to create, as an example, a new folder, create a new document, create a new launcher. You can change the desktop background. You can add desk lists, example, a clock. You can open a terminal and work using line user commands. You can also open as a root, which would allow you to have super user privileges. You can organize your desktop by name, keep aligned, show hidden files, and paste items. I'll select desktop background to change the current background. As you can see, Linux Mint has a great number of backgrounds to choose from. I'll select Maui. Now I'll close the box by clicking the X at the top right-hand corner. It's time we get acquainted with the default Cinnamon menu. To open the menu, click on the menu button at the bottom left corner of the screen. the menu box will appear. On the left side panel, you'll see a Firefox web browser. In the far bottom right corner of the box, you'll see a description listed explaining what the functions are of each application. Using the arrow keys, I can scroll down the side panel to the next application and view its description. There is a search box to find specific applications. I'll type in GUFW, which is a firewall configuration app. Then I will right-click on the icon and choose Add to Favorites. That will display on the side panel, and then I can drag and drop to any position on the side panel. I can arrange my favorites any way I like. Directly underneath the search box, you'll see a tab listed as All Applications. Using your right arrow key found on the computer keyboard, it will allow you to tab over to the Accessibility application. In the bottom right corner of the menu box, you'll see the name of the application you have selected and a brief description of the application's function. By using the down arrow button on your keyboard, you'll be able to view each and every application and its description. The list of apps is rather large, so I won't take your additional time to discuss them. This is a brief overview of where to find all of your applications. If you know what you're searching for, just type in the name of the application in the search box and it will appear on the menu. Example, Rhythm Box. You can then left click on it and it will now launch the application and it will display on your desktop in full screen. Directly below the Applications tab, you'll see the Accessories tab. To get to the tab, use the down arrow on the keyboard. Once you have it highlighted, use the right arrow on the keyboard to tab over to the next column and put your mouse over the Archives tab. Upon doing so, you'll see a brief description at the bottom right on the menu panel box. Now right-click the Archives box and a Cascade drop-down menu will appear that will allow you to add the Archive Manager to the panel, add it to the desktop, add it to favorites. Also, you can uninstall it. Clicking on the Archives Manager icon will open up the application. Once open, you'll see 4 tabs: Archives, Edit, View, and Help. Scrolling down each tab will show you all of the Archive Manager's options. There is even a Help menu if you need more functions and information. In this module, I'd like for you to become more acquainted with the menu. The menu is set up into categories. We'll begin with All Applications tab. The next tab we went over was the Accessories category. We will now scroll down to the tab below, beginning with the word Education. Under the Education tab, using the same down arrow will bring us to Education. I have highlighted the Education, and now with the right arrow tab, we'll move over to where it says Stellarium. Stellarium is an application where you can see the night sky. If we go back over using the left arrow key and then using the down arrow, we can go down to Games. We'll see what games we have. Below that, we can go down using the arrows again to Graphics. We'll see what type of graphics programs are available. We can just use the down arrow to go further down. We see what type of internet connections we have. Arrowing down again, we go to Office and we see we've got LibreOffice, which is a complement to Microsoft Word. Using the down arrow again, we've got sound and video. As you can see, there are quite a bit of sound and video applications there. Tabbing down again, we've got the administration features. The tab below that is Preferences. One tab below Preferences will find Places, and the last tab will say Recent Files. Selecting any of the applications will open up the application. In this module, we will get to know a little bit more about the Sindoni menu. I will scroll down the list of categories and select Places. When you choose the section called Places, you will see 5 entries. These entries are as follows: Documents, Downloads, Pictures, Music, and Video. I'll now select Documents, and you'll see that I have downloaded the English PDF 17.2 Linux Mint Official User's Guide for the Linux Mint 17.2 Cinnamon Edition. At this time of this recording, this tutorial will not indicate the Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa Cinnamon Edition because it is unavailable. The manual in the 17.2 edition has 47 pages of information that I strongly recommend you download and read. A great deal of the information that I am covering in this Quick Start 17.3 Rosa tutorial can be found in this manual. It is a must-read for beginners who want to quickly learn the Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa operating system with grace and ease. I will now direct your attention to the desktop. The computer icon can be found on the desktop screen at the far upper left-hand corner of the screen. We will now click on the computer icon to launch the application. The computer place shows you the storage volumes present in your computer. If your partitions are already mounted and desktop settings is set to show mounted volumes on the desktop, then you probably don't need to access this place very often. However, if you choose not to show the mounted volumes on your desktop, or if you need to mount a partition which is not mounted by default, this place can prove to be very useful. The next application I would like to discuss is your home place, which can be found on the desktop. It is one of the menu buttons you'll probably use the most. Let's click on the home icon, which will reveal a home folder that exists to give you a place to put all of your personal data. The folders are listed as follows. On the first row, you'll find the desktop, documents, downloads, and Kdenlive. On the second row, you'll find music, pictures, public, and templates. And on the third row, you'll find videos. This is where all of your home folders are stored. We will now discuss the network. It is located on the desktop. I will select the network place to display its contents. The network place shows you the other computers, shared services, domains, and workgroups present on your network. You must have an active internet connection to view these features. At the top of the network screen, there are 6 tabs, listed as follows: Files, Edit, View, Go, Bookmarks, and Help. Clicking on any of these tabs will reveal a cascade drop-down menu. The Help tab requires an internet connection to launch all topics. The network can also be accessed on the left side pane at the bottom of the categories listing. We will now talk about the trash place, which can also be found on the desktop. The trash place is where files end up after you delete them. I will click on the trash icon to open its contents. Opening up the trash icon will reveal tabs that allow you to either restore selected items or empty the trash. There is also a list of tabs with drop-down menus. You can also search items in the trash and a number of other options. When you right-click on a file, you can either move to trash or delete it. If you choose to delete it, the file will be permanently deleted and you normally won't be able to recover it. If you choose Move to Trash, it will be moved to the trash place, which is accessible from the menu. From there, you'll be able to drop and drag it somewhere else if you want to restore it, permanently delete it, or move files. Or you can select Empty Trash, and that will allow you to permanently delete all items from the trash. Now I will discuss one of my favorite features in the Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa operating system. I am referring to desktop customization. One of the ways to launch the system settings is on the bottom panel. I will hover over the user icon on the panel and click on the icon. A pop-up window will appear with my photo under a nickname JB. Below the photo there is an icon named System Settings. Left-clicking on System Settings will launch the System Settings screen. This application lets you configure every aspect of the Cinnamon desktop and the computer in general. The System Settings can also be launched by going to the menu and choosing Preferences, scrolling down the list and selecting System Settings, or simply typing in the search box and hitting Enter. Under the categories and system settings, you'll see Appearance. Under Appearance, there is Backgrounds, Effects, Fonts, and Themes. Below that, there are Preferences. Preferences are accessible from A to Z, from accessibility to workspaces. Below that is Hardware. Hardware ranges from color all the way to system info. Under Administration, you can see driver managers to users and groups. Here in System Settings, you can customize your desktop to your heart's content. In this segment, we will discuss the Administration category. I will now click on the menu icon. The Administration tab will show you the tools needed to administrate Linux Mint. I will now select it using the right arrow key. I will tab over and select the Backup tool. The Backup tool will allow you to make a backup on your home desktop. BleachBit will allow you free space and maintain privacy as a root user. ChiroDock, Light Eye Candy, docklets for your desktop. The ChiroDock fallback mode resembles the Apple's Max dock. The Disk User Analyzer allows you to check folder sizes and available disk space. Domain Blocker blocks access to selected domain names. The Driver Manager allows you to manage the drivers for your devices. GDebi Package Installer gives you the ability to install and view software packages. Log Files Manager. Here you can view or monitor system log files. Login Window. Here you can view and configure MDM login window appearance and behavior. New Login. You can log in as another user without logging out. Power Statistics. Here you can observe power management. Printers. Here you have the ability to configure printers. Software Manager. Here you can install new applications. Software Sources. Here you can configure the sources for installable software and updates. Synaptic Package Manager. Here you can install, remove, and upgrade software packages. System Monitor. Here you can view current processes and monitor system state. Update Manager. Here you can show and install available updates. Upload Manager will allow you to define upload services. Lastly, Users and Groups. Here you can add or remove users and groups. I strongly recommend that you navigate through this application to become fully acquainted with the features, functions, and benefits of each application. In this segment, we will discuss the Preference category. I will now click in the menu icon. The Preference tab will show you the tools needed to configure Linux Mint. Tabbing over with right arrow key, I will select Accessibility. Accessibility, here you'll have Universal Access Preferences. In this segment, we will discuss preferred applications. I will click on the menu icon and scroll down to Preferences. Then using the mouse, I will click on Preferred Applications. A new Preferred Applications menu will appear. A new window will appear where you'll see two tabs, Preferred Applications and Removable Media. Below the two tabs, you'll see 7 categories listed under Preferred Applications. The list is as follows. Web, directly across from it, is a drop-down window with choices: Firefox, Chromium web browser, and Opera. There are 3 ways that I can access the internet. The second one on the list is Mail. The next category, directly across from it, is a drop-down menu with choices. These choices are Thunderbird, Opera, and Kmail service. The next is Text. Directly across from it is a drop-down menu with 2 choices, Text Editor and LibreOffice Writer. The next is Music. Directly across from it is a drop-down menu with a wide variety of choices. I've set my choice to Rhythm Box. Video, the next category. Directly across from it is a drop-down menu where there are 5 choices to select. I've set my choice to VLC Media Player. Photos is the next category. Directly across from it is a drop-down menu with a large number of choices. I've set my photos to Shotwell Viewer. And Terminal, which is the last category on this page. Directly across from it is a drop-down menu with only one choice, Terminal. I have set all of my preferred applications and can change them at any time. There is a command that asks you if you'd like to prompt or stop programs on media insert. It is set to off. For demonstration purposes, I will turn the settings on and proceed. I will now click on the Removable Media tab and a new window will appear. We are now viewing the Removable Media menu. There is a list with 5 options to choose from. The list is as follows. Number 1, select an application for audio CDs, and directly across from it, there is a drop-down window with choices. Directly below in the center of the lower box is a tab, Other Media. I will check on the tab, and Other Media menu box will appear with additional options, which reads, select how other media should be handled. There are 2 choices. The first choice is Type. Next to Type is a drop-down menu with choices. Example, audio DVD, blank Blu-ray disc, blank CD disc, blank DVD disc, blank high-definition DVD disc, e-book reader, picture CD, software, and Blu-ray video disc. And the second category is Action. Next to Action is a drop-down menu with choices. Example, Banshee, Other Applications, Ask What to Do, Open Folder, and Do Nothing. These are all of the actions listed you can choose from in your preferred applications to set how all of your media should be handled. In this segment, we will discuss the Cinnamon Desktop panel. The panel is located at the bottom of your Cinnamon Desktop screen. There are icons listed from left to right, starting with the menu icon. As I hover over the menu icon with my mouse, a pop-up window will appear with the name Menu. As I move the mouse from the menu icon from left to right, you'll see a mint green folder named Show Desktop. The orange icon is the Firefox web browser. The next icon looks like a black box. This is the terminal, which I will discuss in its own segment. The next icon is a mint green folder named Files. The next blue icon is OpenShot, a video editor that I'm using right now to create the video that you are viewing. The next icon over with the red swirl on the word English is Linux Mint 17.2 manual, where a great deal of material for this tutorial is being used for the Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa Quick Start tutorial. Moving further to the right, I am hovering over the icon user, JB, which is where system settings is located. The black square box is where your removable devices will be displayed. The next icon with a slash is your network connections. The following sound icon is where your volume and its settings are located. The next icon looks like a battery. Hovering over it will display battery power and time remaining. The next icon is a blue shield, which will let you know if there are any updates available for download. The red camcorder shows you that I'm using a screen capture to record this segment. The next icon reveals the date and time. The last square box at the end of the panel will display any open windows that you are presently working on. When I right-click on the panel, I get the option Configure or Remove the applet. When I right-click on the center of the panel, a drop-down menu will appear with additional options to customize the panel as follows: Add applets to the panel, panel settings, themes, all settings, troubleshoot, modify panel, and panel edit mode. I'll now click on panel settings. A panel screen will appear. Near the top of the panel, you'll see the word settings. Right below, to the right, click on, you'll get a drop-down menu, and the box will appear with choices. Example, auto hide panel, always show the panel, or intelligently hide the panel. You can also customize the panel size. You can allow Cinnamon to scale panel text and icons, and you can adjust the panel height by moving the slider from smaller to larger. At the bottom of the panel, there's also a general panel option. In this segment, we will discuss the software manager. I will click on the menu button. I will now scroll down and select the administration tab. Then scrolling down using the mouse until I come to the software manager icon. Then select it. In order to access the software manager, you must type in the super user administration password, the one you used when you installed the Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa operating system. After typing in the password, click on OK. The software manager box will appear, and you'll notice there are 74,461 packages currently available, and they are all free, with minor exceptions. I will now, using the mouse tab, and tab over each icon displayed, beginning with Feature, which is showing 45 packages. I'll now select the featured icon, and you'll see all of the available software packages. Using the down arrow key on the computer keyboard, I will scroll down the list. I will now click on the Categories box to return to the Software Manager menu. Once there, I will select all packages where there are 74,000, as I mentioned, 461 software packages to select from. I'll scroll down the list. The list is too long to showcase. I'll then just follow the path back and select Categories to take me to the Software Manager menu. We will now select the Internet icon where you'll see there are over 5,979 available software packages. On the top of the screen there are 4 categories. They are listed as follows: Web, which has over 5,000 packages; Email, which has over 700 packages; Chat, which has 35 packages; and File Sharing, which has 26 packages. Once again, selecting categories and returning to the menu, I'll then check Office. There are over 300 Office software packages to choose from. We'll go back to categories and select games, where there are over 1,900 games to select from. If you'll notice, games are listed by categories: board games, first-person shooters, real-time strategy, turn-based strategy, emulators, and simulation and racing. Scrolling down the list, you'll see there are many games to choose from. Once again, I'll select categories to return to the software manager, where I will select accessories, a category that has over 3,000 choices. I'll just scroll down the list. The list is expansive. We'll once again return to categories, select it, and go back to the software manager menu, where we will select System Tools. As you can see, scrolling down the list, we have many options. Returning back through categories, we will select Fonts, where there are over 300 software packages. Scrolling down the list, you'll find fonts such as Microsoft fonts, Arial, for example, and many other fonts to choose from. And returning the way we entered, we'll click on categories once again and get back to the software manager menu, where we will choose Science and Education. Again, scrolling down the list, you'll see there are many things to choose from. Example, dictionary. Again, returning to category, selecting it to return to the software manager menu, we'll select Programming, where you'll see that there are over 6,000 free software packages to choose from. Scrolling down the list, it is very impressive. Once again, going back through categories and returning to the software manager, I'll select View, unselect Unavailable Packages, and then reselect Installed Packages. Then I'll select Internet. You'll see a list that I have installed on my computer. There's quite a bit of applications that I now have installed. Returning to categories, clicking on it, we will once again return to the software manager menu, where I'll select Sound and Video to show you a customized list that I have created using the software manager and downloading the software onto my computer. Scrolling down the list, you'll see a wide array of sound and video applications. I think with over 70,000 applications, Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa is a rock-solid operating system. All of the operations are installed directly from the software manager. There are no third-party software headaches, viruses, or malware to worry about. In this segment, we'll be discussing the Update Manager. The Update Manager can be launched in 2 different ways. The first way would be to use the menu Cinnamon Desktop. Clicking in the menu, I can go to the administrator and then select Update Manager. The second way would be to click on the blue shield icon on the lower right side of the panel to launch the application. Clicking on the blue shield, I can launch the Update Manager. As a side note, hovering over the blue shield will tell you either that your system is up to date, or if it isn't, how many updates are available as well. If you click on the lock icon, the Update Manager opens and shows the updates that are available. I will click on the blue shield icon to launch the Update Manager. An Update Manager menu box will appear. Near the top of the box, there are 4 tabs. Below these tabs, you'll see 4 additional tabs, beginning with Clear, Select All, Refresh, and Install Updates. If there are updates listed below, you'll see the type, level, upgrade package, and new version description listed. Simply click in Install Updates. A word of caution, I recommend unchecking levels 4 and 5 before doing any updates. Level 1 and 2 are totally secure. When in doubt, uncheck the box. Example, limited remote access assistance or desktop sharing. A word to the wise should be sufficient. In this segment, we'll be discussing the terminal. I will now click on the square black box on the desktop panel. The terminal button launches an application called Terminal, which lets you enter commands directly using the keyboard. The terminal is quite important in Linux, as it is often used as a way of getting more direct control over one's computer. We probably all agree that the terminal isn't the most visibly appealing application included in Linux Mint, but it is worth knowing that it is by far the most powerful, and once learned, it's actually not very hard to use. In fact, it is worthwhile understanding that every command that you execute using a graphical desktop environment goes through the terminal. When you click on an icon on the menu, for example, you are instructing Cinnamon to pass a textual instruction to the terminal. As an instructional exercise, I will right-click Menu on the bottom left of the desktop, then choose Configure, then click Open the Menu Editor and navigate to any of the application menus. Pick an application and click on the Properties button. You will see in the command field the text command that is passed to the system. When you click on that application entry in the menu, in other words, you have already been using the terminal for some time, perhaps without realizing it. All that was different was that instead of you typing out the commands, your Cinnamon desktop was doing it for you. Sooner or later, you will probably be in a situation which causes you to use the terminal directly, either to access commands that are not available through the graphic user interface or to get a job done more efficiently. In this segment, we will cover the Office application. In Linux Mint 17.3, LibreOffice is featured. I will click on the menu icon and scroll down the list to Office. Tabbing over to the right, you'll see 7 LibreOffice applications. LibreOffice is comparable to Microsoft Office. You can even download from the Software Center MS Score fonts to have all of the Microsoft fonts you are familiar with. There is a list of the following applications. When hovering over the lower corner, you can read each application description. The first application on the list is LibreOffice. This is the official productivity suite, which allows you to manage databases. Next on the list is LibreOffice Base, which allows you to manage databases, create queries and reports to track and manage. Next on the list is LibreOffice Calc, which would allow you to perform calculations, analyze information, and manage lists in spreadsheets. Next on the list is LibreOffice Draw. This will allow you to create and edit drawings, flowcharts, logos, and much more. Next we have LibreOffice Impress. You can create and edit presentations for slideshows, meetings, and web pages. Next on the list is LibreOffice Math. This will allow you to create and edit scientific formulas and equations. And last on this list is LibreOffice Writer. Here you can create and edit text and graphics in letters, reports, documents, and web pages. In this module, we will discuss Internet security. On the desktop, I will click on the Home icon. I will now select Documents and then select the Internet security document. Here you are viewing a list of very important security tips that will help keep your computer safe from prying eyes. The first thing I strongly recommend installing is a firewall. Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa doesn't have one pre-installed out of the box. You must install it from the software manager. Setting up a standard user account, in my view, is also a high priority for personal security. All that is required is that you go into the system settings and open up users and groups. Once there, you'll be required to type in your super user password. Then you will be able to add a standard user account and will be able to give the standard users a username, photo, icon, and a password. After signing out of the super user administrator account, you can restart the computer and try logging in as a new user and entering the password. The computer will load your input and boot up the system under the standard user account. All that is left to do is add your screensaver wallpaper, files, documents, music, videos, etc. The standard user account will not have administrative privileges. Therefore, when surfing on the internet, any viruses or malware, which are rare on Linux, will be isolated only to the standard user account and cannot affect the administrator account or the rest of the computer. Should you have a problem, simply sign out of the standard user account, log in as the super user, and delete the standard user, and then recreate a new standard user account, and you're back in business. It's important to remember to back up your standard user account with an external hard drive or USB flash drive. Turn off your Wi-Fi connection. Wi-Fi is spy-fi. Any good hacker can access your password within 24 hours. If you must have Wi-Fi, create a password with at least 15 digits, upper and lowercase characters with numbers and function keys in the password. And I strongly recommend changing this password weekly, if not daily. The next thing on the list that I strongly recommend is to uninstall Remina Remote Access. Do not allow hackers to use Bluetooth to gain access into your computer. Also, uninstall desktop sharing and file sharing. A word to the wise should be sufficient. Don't let anyone compromise your computer. Simply go to your menu. Under the application, you can scroll down the list, and when you find an unwanted application, simply right-click on it and then select uninstall. It's as easy as that. And now we come to one of the worst computer criminals, and that is Bluetooth. A hacker can instantly access the Bluetooth if it's turned on and gain access into your computer. As an example, you could be watching a movie or listening to a song, and you decide you want to enhance your listening experience by plugging in a set of Bluetooth speakers. You can be hacked in a nanosecond, and you would be totally unaware of it. Being signed in as a standard user would somewhat safeguard your super user account, but all the information stored on your standard account could be stolen. Stay away from Bluetooth. Uninstall it immediately after installing the Linux Mint. Another suggestion would be to not use the wireless USB mouse. Though it may be convenient, it can be used to access your computer. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's true. My recommendation is to use a wired mouse or use the computer keypad exclusively. I've also included some additional tips for you to consider. Use only an Ethernet connection to surf the internet. This is the best method to use to go on the internet. It is the most secure. For those who want to keep prying eyes from accessing your computer, I strongly recommend that you use a live DVD, example Linux Mint 17.3, to surf the internet with an external hard drive or USB flash drive connected to your computer to download files, documents, music, videos, etc. And lastly, for those who want total anonymity, I suggest purchasing an Anonymous Tales live DVD or USB flash drive at osdisc.com. You can order it online and within 3 days have it shipped to your home. And when using a live Linux DVD or a USB flash drive, it will be very hard to be hacked. Your computer will always be safe when surfing the internet. In this module, I will get on the internet using the Firefox browser. You'll notice I have preloaded several internet sites for you to check out to learn more about the Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa operating system. The first tab I have loaded is the linuxmint.org homepage. Here you'll learn a great deal about the Linux Mint version and be able to chat with others regarding questions you may have about the operating system. You can download the ISO image to your computer, which will then have to be burned on a DVD, and if you like to have it on a USB flash drive, you'll need to have a dedicated flash drive with at least 8 gigabytes of free space, and you're good to go. If you're not that computer savvy, I strongly recommend that you go to the next website, osdisc.com. That's osdisc.com. Here you'll find Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa in either a live DVD format or one that you can purchase on a USB flash drive. The third tab is for those of you who seriously value their internet privacy. Tails.boum.org, that's tails.boum.org. Here you'll be able to download the ISO image and, following the same process I mentioned earlier, have a copy of the Tails operating system. But as I mentioned earlier, if you're not computer savvy, you can go to osdisc.com and order the live DVD or USB flash drive to surf the internet anonymously. When using a live DVD or USB flash drive, your computer will always be safe when surfing the internet. In this segment, we will go over the information that I have covered in the Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa Quick Start Guide. The reviews are as follows. We'll begin with general information. Then we covered a history of Linux. We next talked about the Cinnamon desktop. We learned about desktop settings. We talked about the welcome screen. You learned how to create a screensaver wallpaper. You learned about the menu, favorites, all applications, all the categories, places, and recent files. We then covered the Cinnamon desktop. We also covered system settings. We learned about administration. We learned about preferences. We learned about preferred applications. We also covered the panel. We learned about the software manager. We also learned about the update manager. We went over the terminal. We also covered Office, which featured LibreOffice. We learned about internet security, and we learned about surfing the internet. We went over quite a bit in this tutorial. We have discussed a lot of information about Linux Mint in general. My intention was to give you, the beginner, many of the aspects related to the Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa Cinnamon desktop. I strongly recommend that you purchase a composition notebook and create a section for all of the steps in the overview and quick start guide. In that way, you'll be able to follow your notes and become more proficient when using Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa Edition. Repetition breeds perfection. I recommend watching this video at least 3 times, and with each viewing you'll gain a wider array of knowledge. You can also pause the video and do your own exercises just as they were shown to you in this video. Practice makes perfect. Learn at your pace. Once you learn Linux, you'll absolutely love it. In this final segment, I would like to thank everyone who has followed along and watched the Linux Mint 17.3 tutorial. In my view, Linux Mint is by far one of the most elegant operating systems available today. It is user-friendly and has thousands of free software applications to choose from. As you have seen, it is easily customizable. There are many system settings, and no 2 Linux Mint 17.3 Rosa Cinnamon desktops will look the same. Linux Mint gives you the freedom to create your own signature Cinnamon desktop. In closing, I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial. This is Sindoni signing off.